Hello and welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, India is all set to make history once its third lunar mission, Chandrayaan-3, makes a soft and successful landing on the south polar region of the moon on Wednesday. ISRO has confirmed this would be around 6:04 in the evening. In fact, they've shared more images of the moon taken from a 70-kilometer distance by the country's ambitious lunar mission. The images were captured by a camera tasked with guiding the lander during its historic touchdown tomorrow. Now, learning from Chandrayaan-2, its shortcomings, India's new lunar mission aims to make a soft landing on the moon south pole. And as the countdown to Chandrayaan's landing has begun, what is even more important to perhaps remember is the journey that India has witnessed over the last 1 decade. Joining us on this special broadcast is Padma Bhushan Dr. George Joseph. He was the director of the Space Application Center in Ahmedabad. Not just that, he was the head of India's first lunar mission study task force. Dr. Joseph, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Not many would really know about the fact that today, if Chandrayaan-3 is really possible, it's because what began back in 2000, you being part of Dr. G. Madhavan Nair's team, and when you all started that task force to look into lunar exploration. At that point in time, perhaps that wasn't one of the major objectives of ISRO, to basically indulge in any sort of an exploration, but the need emerged with that task force that came into being, and you were at the helm of affairs. Dr. Joseph, tell us, what is it that you found out when you began that study? Why do you think the lunar mission of India becomes extremely crucial?
Let me start by telling, in India we have number of scientists who study the space related sciences. So it was at that time Dr. Chandryaan, who was the chairman at that time, thought we should investigate the possibilities of using our own rocket and satellite to study outside Earth. So obviously the first target for that was the moon. So before starting seriously, he wanted to know the reaction or the views of the scientists. For this purpose, during 1999, there was a meeting of the scientists of the Indian Academy of Sciences, where there's a half-day session on a mission to moon, which was attended by a number of senior scientists, and it was unanimously felt such a mission will be invigorating to the scientists and the younger generation, and also nation as a whole. Subsequently, there was a meeting at the Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, of the Astronomical Society of India, where also we discussed the possibilities of having a mission to moon and what type of science can do it and what more we can learn, which is already having. So after also having a discussion with the scientific community, Dr. Chandryaan set up a study task force. As you said, I had the privilege of chairing that, which is included scientists from across the country. That's how the first seed of lunar mission, or Chandrayaan-1, has taken place.
Dr. Joseph, let's take it a step forward. You also submitted a report thereafter. You identified those very capabilities of ISRO. Let me ask you this. What were the recommendations that you made at that point in time? And did you actually see that India perhaps could be at the cusp of making history as it is today? Did you foresee this when you undertook that study?
Yes. See, let me tell you, the study consists of scientists from across the country, and first investigation or first discussion what science we can do, which is something unique and which will also give an opportunity for our scientists to have some newer understanding. Now, based on that, I just give you one example. You know, one of the camera sensor on board the Chandrayaan-1 was a stereoscopic camera which has a capability to measure, to take image at 5 meters. Of course, the moon, the whole of moon surface have been photographed at various resolutions, but there was no systematic measurement. Now that will enable in the future to do any experiment on a specific location to have a base map. You know, in India, if you want to do any observation, you go for Survey of India map. So that was one of the targets. Second thing was to understand the mobility of the particles on the moon, how it moves, and a number of things like that. So we set up a target. So what was the most prominent, scientifically valuable experiments? And we found with that experiment the weight and the power, whether we have the capability of the existing satellite rocket to carry it. We found that we can do a meaningful experiment with the capability of the rocket at that time. Dr. Chandryaan also thought it will be a good opportunity, just like the other countries do, giving an opportunity for outside India to put their own experiments. So in the study team, we reserved, if I remember correctly, about 10 kg weight and around 10 watt power and we send out proposal internationally. We got large number of proposals and we shortlisted out of that, and that's how the whole payload was configured. Later, when the actual work has to be started, then it was found at that time, Dr. Madhavan Nair, that we could have gone for an advanced version of PSLV, which has the capability to take a higher payloads. So we have added some more payloads from the foreign countries, as well as we have a moon impact probe also which has been put on that. So this is how the evolution of Chandrayaan-1 took place.
Dr. Joseph, coming to Chandrayaan-1, which you have been part of, and that was one mission that not just India was really proud of. It was critically acclaimed by several universities abroad, and the very fact that Chandrayaan-1 was that first mission that discovered the presence of ice molecules on the surface of moon. What is it that you would say was the most unique aspect of Chandrayaan-1? And when you were building it, did you actually think that you would be able, at the first go, be able to make this mission a success?
Of course, we have no doubt in our mind the mission will be successful. Now, to answer the first question, now when you make a scientific investigation, you go with a presumption. Not every time you think of a discovery. Of course, it is the first time anywhere we have discovered the hydroxyl, I mean not the water, the molecules, using what's called a spectrometer. That is a great discovery which I think is now remembered whenever one has a mission on the moon. The other thing, as I told, we were able to see moon surface have been imaged in centimeters by these astronauts and in meters or kilometers by other means. But never a systematic observation of 5 meter, which is equivalent, which can give a 1:50,000 scale map. This has been first done by the Chandrayaan-1. So it is basically, though it is a first experiment for India, it had lot of innovations so that it gave good science as well.
Dr. Joseph, one last question that I would like to take with you is with regards to the journey. If you now look back, was there a moment when you were discussing this with your fellow scientists? Did you actually imagine a situation where India is not only going to decide that Chandrayaan-3, which is going to perhaps choose the most difficult area for soft landing, not only that aspect, but several firsts in multiple missions that were taking place? Did you, your team, actually think that India could achieve this? And if that's the case, what is it in terms of the future of India's space exploration looks like to you?
It's a very good question. See, in fact, when we made the study, we found out, we tried to establish with the existing capability at that time, not only going to moon, whether we can go to Mars. So in fact, the study report has about a couple of pages telling what are the capability at that time to go to Mars. Probably I would say the seed of mission orbiting Mars was already sown there. We were confident that the experiment what we have proposed on that will have a scientific value, and we never had any doubt that any issue will take place. Of course, it is a science mission, it's a spacecraft mission, you can have bugs here and there. But the capability of our launch vehicle, capability of the satellite was such that the proposed mission was really possible, and it was successful, except that after, I don't remember, after some time, we had some glitch in which we have to close it down.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Joseph, for taking us through this journey. Yeah. Sorry. Dr. Joseph, go ahead. Please make your point that you will.
No need to apologize.
No, what I meant
Dr. Joseph, you were saying something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. We purposely coined this Chandrayaan-1. Of course, to have the history, I should say, the proposal we made and submitted to Chairman ISRO was Somayana. But then it is Honorable Prime Minister at that time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, said that Chandrayaan is a term which is more familiar to the people, and he is changed the name to Chandrayaan. So that's just giving a background on that. So I would say
Dr.
that
Joseph,
we have put the Chandrayaan as one, purposely keeping in mind this is only the beginning, and there are number of other missions to take place.
Just, I'm really running short of time, but quickly, if I just can get a word from you. As far as Chandrayaan-3 is concerned, Dr. Joseph, I know you've not been part of this mission, but how confident are you from whatever information is out in public domain?
See, in ISRO as a background, whenever there is a failure, we make a study extensively and make corrections. This is not the first time. The number of times we have failed, we have succeeded. I am 101% confident that this will be a great success. Of course, mishap can happen at any time, any moment.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Joseph. It was a pleasure interacting with you on Republic TV, and really hoping that after that successful landing on Moon, we could once again touch base with you as you take us through the journey of India's moon exploration.
Thank you.